My name is Mickey Taylor. I am the founder and CEO of Taylor and Company Travel, an agency that I have created and have grown with the help of Agent Studio. I've used Agent Studio from the very beginning, and my goal as by providing the webinars on Agent Studio's behalf is to share my experience with you on how I've taken my agency from, a startup, basically a starving startup, to a thriving agency. So I hope that you will find a lot of information in the webinars that you can take back and use within your own agency or your own travel practice. One of the things that before I started writing for Agent at Home and Vacation Agent magazines, I would always get them in the mail. And I want to make sure that everyone is receiving these free publications. That's right, I said free. You don't often hear that too much anymore in any regard. And if the word free is used, it usually doesn't end up being worth what you were hoping it would be. But Agent at Home magazines and Vacation Agent magazines are, they definitely bring the value to you. So if you don't get those in the mail, please make sure you go and sign up to start receiving those. They're great publications. I do, in the Agent at Home magazine, it's specifically geared towards home-based agents. And there's always a lot of really good information in there for you. And I write the Agent at Home or the Work at Home column. So I try to provide tips and ideas. Patricia says they are great resources for me as a home-based agent. Patricia, I'm so glad that you get those. You are probably one step ahead of most agents. Most agents aren't aware of that or aren't aware of the publication. So I started, making sure that I tell everyone, because they are, I have a ton to learn about the industry as well, and I always learn something new from them. So definitely, please sign up to get those. They're free and will give you a lot of good tips, a lot of advice. The Vacation Agent is more geared towards destinations and different resort chains and cruises and things like that, but still a wealth of knowledge. So you definitely want to sign up to get those. During the webinar, if you have any questions, you can either post your question in the Q&A section, or you can post it in the chat section. And I like to work questions in as we go, because I find that is easier if I answer your question about a certain topic when I'm in the midst of that topic. So please go ahead and ask as many questions as you have. Questions are what make the webinars great. And the question you might be thinking of, everyone else on the webinar either might have and don't want to ask, or they've never even thought of it. So you can open up a whole new idea for everyone that's on the webinar. I am a little sick, so my voice will probably be a little scratchy, and I apologize ahead of time for any coughing spells that I might get. So hopefully I can keep that to a minimum. So today's webinar is going to go over your website, and does your website back up or showcase your specialties or your niches? Okay, so when you get your Agent Studio website, this is a demo website that I use. My website's being worked on. The mobile reactive is being set up, so I can't really play in it too much, but I do want to open it up and show you a little bit about what I'm talking about. So on my website, I have a section called specialty travel. And, you know, it's no secret, if you've been on any of my other webinars or know me personally, you know that I'm not a huge snow person. I don't really like the cold. I'm a beach, warm, tropical type of girl. So I don't really market too much in regards to ski vacations, that type of thing. Just because it's not that I won't sell it, I will, but I like to sell what I like. And I feel like I can do everyone a better service by selling what I love. Now, I do have a few other agents within my agency that if, you know, if I'm busy and I get, hey, we want to go on a ski vacation, I will give it to them because they like the snow. They're more about the winter, snowboarding, skiing, tubing, that type of thing. So, but with my website, I wanted to make sure that, you know, when you come here, you get the feel for what we specialize in. And also, I have a section for I do's. Destination weddings are huge. And yeah, you can see the website's getting rearranged a little bit. So if you've been on a previous webinar, you know, they're getting moved around to accommodate the mobile, so that it's mobile reactive. But I have a complete section on destination weddings because it's a huge market. I would much rather do 12 fairly, you know, mid-sized destination weddings a year than to plan 25 single trips. They're a lot more fun. They are a little bit more work, but if you have a process and a system in place, having a destination wedding for 200 people to me isn't any more work than having, you know, a trip for 6 people. So I want to make sure that when people come to my site, they know, hey, you know, we do destination weddings, and then they can look at the specialty travel and get an idea of some of the other options that we have. So with the starter, so this is the starter demo site that we're looking at. And with this one across the top, now you can't change these tabs or the navigation, but as you can see, we can put new pages underneath. So I started playing just so you could get an idea of some of the different options that you have. You can create, whoops, wrong one, and I'll explain to you why I have those WordPress templates up. Under here, I have a lot of different types of pages on my site. So this is a hotel and resort collection that I'm constantly adding to. I like to work with Dominique DeBay, who is a hotel management company, and these are the properties that she represents. So I wanted to work with her, and I wanted to market the hotels that she represents. So instead of sending everyone to her website, which will result in me not getting any credit at all, I decided that I wanted to create my own page for the hotels that she works with. And she's pretty high end, so I like the luxury side of the travel business. So her properties fit in well. So I created pages like this. And you can see now, you can read this and see this edit button because I'm logged in, but when a client comes to my website, they won't see that. Now, when I bring this up, I can see right away that I forgot to do something. I didn't center this iframe, so I am going to make a note of that and make sure that I go back in and center this so that it looks a lot neater on the page. And then the presentation is basically and the same thing. I need to center this, but it's a list of, or a combination of all the different images for this hotel. So that's one example. You also can, if you're a Disney specialist, I have implemented or integrated the little micro sites. And each of the kind of hard thing, it's kind of hard, but at the same time, it's kind of nice that different suppliers provide us different tools. Some we like more than others. And, you know, I wish every supplier would have these little micro sites like Disney offers, because they're filled with all the information that your clients would ever want to know when they come to your website. So you can go down through here. This is everything that they need. And it's right on your site. So at the top or at the bottom of the page, you can put notification or a call to action button on trip inquiry, book now type of scenario, whichever you would like. Okay, so those are a couple different types of pages that you can create to showcase the different aspects of travel that your agency specializes in. And one thing that is the same with all of these pages, I have started out with creating the page utilizing the table template. So that's what we're going to play around with a little bit. And you can see I was playing prior to the start of the webinar, just to give you an idea of a page, what you can do and how you can play around with the different options for the table. So I'm going to go down to the control panel, and to get there, I go to the bottom of my website. Now I've already signed into this, so it brought me directly into the control panel. If you're just now going into the control panel, you'll have to log in. And then once you're into the control panel, you want to go to pages. And if you click on site pages, that's going to show you all of the pages that are currently included in your website. So these are a couple other options that I've done in previous webinars: creating new pages, taking a PDF and turning it into a web page, utilizing Travefy and turning an itinerary into a web page. And I've done quite a few of those, so I wanted to change this one up and start bringing, you know, some new ideas into the webinars. So I showed you the one that I started. Now we're going to do a new one. And to start a new page, all you do is click Create New Page. And we're going to give this a name. I'm just going to call it Beach Vibe. Okay, and the rule of thumb is your URL is the same as your page name. And then we can select which parent page we want to put this under. I'm going to put it under destinations, because with the starter, remember, we can't change the navigation across the top, but we can add underneath it. And then let's just do Beach Vibe Weddings for the content title. So now, what I was saying, how I start these out, is if you move your cursor across all of these little icons, you'll get the title or what it is. The name will flash up. And this is a table, and it works exactly like a table in a Word document. So if you've ever been in Word and you've inserted a table, this works exactly like it. So I'm going to click on the table, and for this particular layout, I'm going to put in 3 rows and columns. I'm going to actually just do 1 because I'm trying to do a different layout to to show you a different option than the one I was playing around with, which was basically just a collage of different images, making them different sizes to bring a different look and feel to the web page. Now, if you want a border, you can put a number in here. The higher the number, the thicker the border. So I changed that. If you want a header, you can tell it the first row, and then whatever you type down here in the caption will become, the caption will go into that first header row. And let's just type again, beach vibe weddings. Okay, now you can see here's the beach vibe weddings, and we have this table set up. Now, what am I going to do with this table? You can see the thicker border at the bottom. I am going to come in here and I'm going to jump back. Before I do that, I want to come back to these WordPress templates. Before I decided what type of layout or how I wanted the look and feel of my site to be, I searched through hundreds, and I'm not exaggerating when I say hundreds, of these WordPress templates. Okay, I would come in here, I would look at the different layouts, I would see how the websites look, and then that's when I went to Agent Studio originally and said, okay, this is, I like this template or that template, or I want to combine this or that. So Agent Studio originally, 4 years ago now, originally set up my website. And all I had when I went to them was the fact that I knew I had a layout, an outline created of what I wanted on each page, but I didn't really have a particular outline. So this is what it looked like originally. Now the background was just water, but this is what, you know, pretty much every page looked like. And I can honestly tell you that after about 8 months of looking at this and building it out, I got so sick of it. So pretty much as soon as the website got done, I wanted to change the layout. So then we went and created this new layout, which is a little funky right now in Safari. There's some type of an issue that Agent Studio is working through that affects the layout and how Safari is showing our pages. So I went but I found the new layout by going through WordPress. And you can come in here and get a ton of inspiration. You can see this, I chose a certain layout, and then as you scroll through, it will give you different ideas on how you can take this same layout and make it different. Okay, so it's kind of like the templates that we have within Agent Studio. You basically take the template and then you can change it up. You can change the colors, add your logo, that type of thing. So even though 100 agents might use the same template, their sites are going to look very different. Okay, so that, I just wanted to share this with you as a place to go for inspiration. And then what I did was I just started to play. And playing around in the, now I gotta get back to the right page. Playing around in here and creating pages, seeing how they look, you don't have to make them live. You can play and hide the pages, and I'll show you how to do that after we create the first part of this page. So I was looking at the last one a main image at the top and like 5 smaller images at the bottom. So that is the idea that I have, and that's what we're going to work on creating now. So I set up this table, 1 column, and I just added 3 rows. We can always insert rows and columns and delete rows. So I just started it very small. And to insert the main image or the large image at the top, I'm going to click on the image. We have a question. Gail asks, will you be explaining the Impreza page? I see. Let me see. This one, Impreza. This, yeah, well, kind of in a roundabout way. This was one of the ones that I liked. I was playing around with the previous one, in Beto Market. Let me go back and see if I can find that one. Oh, so this in Beto Market, this is just where I found all these different templates from. So if I look here, I'm not sure. This is just their, this is a WordPress site, I believe, but this is just what I use to go through and look at the different themes that they have. So not exactly going to be explaining this layout, if that makes any sense. Okay, so I'm jumping back into my page and I clicked on the image icon. Okay, and then I'm going to go to upload. Now, if I already had an image that I was using somewhere on my website, I don't have to upload it again. I can just go here to browse server and I can choose one of these images that are already in here. But I want to show you how to upload and go that route. So I'm going to go in and let me move this out of the way a little bit. I need to find. So one place, agents always ask where I get my images so that I'm not infringing on copyright or causing copyright infringement. I buy anything I buy from Adobe stock. If you have kids in college, they get a cheaper subscription to Adobe as long as they have a .edu email address, so you can get discounts through Adobe utilizing your child's school email. So that's what I do. Thankfully or not thankfully, my child is getting ready to go to vet school, so she still has a few more years to go, so I can take advantage of that. But there are a number of other places that you can also purchase images from, or you can go to the suppliers. And as long as you are utilizing the supplier information and, you know, selling their products, you are allowed to use them. Now, if you take a secrets image and you like the image that they have because it's a beach and it's a beach in Costa Rica, and you want to promote the, you know, ABC Hotel and Resort that's down the road, but you really like that image, if that gets caught, they won't like that. However, but as long as it's, you know, you're promoting their product, they don't mind that you use their images. So I know that a lot of these I purchased to create my profile on the Knot or my storefront. And it's 85 degrees in Auburn today, so I have the windows, the doors, everything is open, so hopefully it doesn't get too loud. Okay, so once I chose the image, I had to click send it to the server, and then you know that it's on the server because it will take you back to the image info, this first screen, and then you can come in and change the height and the width. And the height, I'm just going to make a guess and do like 500. The height, actually the width I want to do, I'm going to do 1,000 because that should be the width of this page. And the height, let's do, whoops. And you see when I delete the height, it takes out the width because I have this lock closed. Now, if I want to set up my own width and height, which I do, all I have to do is click on this lock and then it will open it up. And I can make any adjustments I want to the height and the width, and then I can say okay. So this is the image that we have. And of course, I named the page Beach Vibe Weddings, and we're showing the Eiffel Tower. But for all intents and purposes, we're going to go with this. And in the next row, we are going to add 5 additional images. Okay, so if I come up here to, I need to move this down just a little bit so we can see the cursor. So I'm going to come back up here, and for these, I'm just going to browse the server and grab a couple that I already have in here. So I'm going to click on that image, and the width of these, I'm going to make them all 200 because I'm trying to fit 5 images in. And the height, you can make it what you want. So, and really when you come in here to set these up, it's trial and error to see what you like. So we're going to make them all 200 by 150, and then we can come back in and make any other adjustments to the individual images. Let's take this one. And this goes super quick when you already have the images up. And uploaded into or onto the server. And if we come in and say, we kind of want to break that up a little bit, maybe put another couple in there as opposed to having it laid out like that, we could come in here and grab this one. And obviously the theme of this page is weddings, but this could be, you could use this same layout for wellness, sporting event, anything. You know, all you have to do is just change the images. And it's a layout that can be used on every page. I kind of am partial. I like the site to look and feel the same. So I like every page to kind of be laid out the same. Some people like a different feel. They think that that gets a little boring. So they like each page or each section of their website to have a different layout, and that's okay too. It's your website, your personality, and whatever look and feel you want it to have, it's all okay because there is no right or wrong answer. 50. Okay, so, you know, if I wanted this to keep, actually, let me delete this. So you saw I wanted to delete an image. I clicked on the image, and on my keyboard, I just hit delete. Keep it to the beachy theme, and let's go in and see if we have another image of couples. Let's use this one. So it is a little bit more balanced. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to save the page, and where I put this under destination, so Beach Vibe. And this is what so far the page looks like. So before, and I advise doing this in steps. So after you do a little bit of work, save it, go look at the page. See if you like it. Obviously, we would want a different picture there. And I'll show you how to just go in and change that out. But so far, I think the page looks great. And you could do this for, you could set up a main page that has different wedding styles. And one could be beach, one could be rustic, one could be Christmas wedding. You could have skiing weddings, you know, cold, like the snow. Some people love that. My oldest daughter wants to get married in a barn and wants it to be very country, boho chic. My other daughter wants to get married at a beach. So all of those different types, you could have a page set up for inspiration for each one of those. So we're going to go back in, and this edit button, it does work. So if I click this, it will open up the page into edit mode. And if I click here, you'll see it pops up the toolbar. But since the secure, we started using HTTPS with our Agent Studio sites, this doesn't really work for my website. I don't know what the difference is. So I used to use this a lot. You can try it and save the page and see if it keeps your changes. It lets me change stuff, but when I click publish changes, it looks like it works, but then if I leave the site and come back and open up that page again, the changes are gone. So I just wanted to let you in on that little secret. We can come back. Yeah, we're gonna leave the page and just go back into the control panel and open up that page again, Beach Vibe. Okay, so if we wanted to change out this top image here, we can click on that, and if we go back up to the image icon, we can either browse the server again or we can upload another image. And it's as easy as that. It will, I need to move this so I can scroll. It will just, once we upload the new image, it will replace this one. Let's see, this looks kind of beachy, so we'll try this one. Sometimes I never know if it's actually sending it, if it's thinking about it, or what exactly it's doing. So if you think it isn't working, you can click send to server again. Okay, so we'll change that out. Now let's look. That looks a little more like it. Now, up here at the top where we put Beach Vibe Weddings, you can change the color of this by clicking on the A. You can select a color here. You can make it bold. We can change the font. We can change the size of it. Okay, and if we want this to be off center, we want it to start from the left as opposed to being in the center, we can do that. Now, when you click on this, there aren't that many colors in here. So if you have a certain color palette that you're using for your website, you of course want to make sure that you're sticking with that palette. And to make the change, all we have to do is click source, and now we're into the code. So if we didn't want to work in the pretty section and work out here and inserting the images and all of that, and we knew how to type the code, we could come in here and instead of using the toolbar, we could just type all this out. Okay, and basically this is telling us that the text is aligned to the left, the font size is 36, the font is Georgia serif. So it goes through in each of these little sections is determining what we did. Okay, so by us clicking here, that's writing the code basically back here. And the color, so the color wasn't something that actually matched. So if you have the code for the color for your website, all you have to do is come in here and I don't know exactly what that is, but all you have to do is type in the actual code. And then when we come back, you see it changed the color. And that's how you can keep everything. And the same thing, you don't have that many choices here for font style. So if there's a font that you use throughout your entire website, same thing. All you have to do is come into the source, and where this says Georgia, we can put anything. If we wanted, what is one, Calibra, I think. So it changed it. Okay, so we aren't confined to the options here, but setting up these, using these options to get the code in place will allow you to easily go in and make those adjustments that you would like to make. Okay, now we also can take this one step further. If maybe you want to put a border around each of these. So if we go into the image and here and go into the borders spot and we put a 1 in there, you saw that it instantly put the border around it. Okay, and of course it took it, made that 1 go to the next line. So if that's the case, we don't want it to go to the next page or the next row. I don't know if it'll do a half or not. I don't think it will. No, it has to be whole number. So we could either start over or not really start over, but we can make these, the width be like 190 for each of these and then put the border to 1. And then it took it back up. So if we come in here to each of these, 190, and then put the 1 in for the border. Okay, so are you seeing how the point of me going through and showing you this is to let you see how easy it is to make adjustments and changes. And this is really what you have to do when you're creating the pages. Start out with an idea for the layout that you want, and then just come in here and recreate it. You might find that you love it, and you've created it exactly like the template that you found, or you make certain changes to it. You might want to put a border around this, and maybe we want that one to be a little bit thicker. Okay, and then to see our changes, I'm going to save the page and then come back into the main. Now we see we have this twice, so we might want to erase or remove one of these, just depends. But now you see, since we added the outline, I think I forgot to do the last one. So let's go back in and let me jump and fix that one really quick. And no, oh, I forgot the border. Okay. There we go. Now we'll save the page and go back. Okay, so here's what our page looks like. Looks pretty good. Now we can take these, we can add additional images across the bottom. You can, maybe each one of these images is from a wedding at, say, Secrets or an AM Resorts property. So if you have the wedding guide for each of these, I think now AM Resorts, they each of the different hotel types has their own wedding brochure. So you can link those to each of the images. And to do that, we also can add a call to action button like inquire or receive a quote or let's start planning. And that can link to a form that you have set up for your clients to fill out when they want to request information about your wedding services or your spa vacations or your sports. Okay, so I deleted that. I'm not sure if it's going to let me just put a few spaces there and let that count as the heading or the page title, so we don't end up with the same title twice, but we'll try it. If we wanted to link this to, let's go into, I take the brochures for any supplier that I use. I know a lot of you might use MailPound, which is good, but I like to have too much control over everything that I do. So I don't use MailPound, but I use AnyFlip, which is where I create my own, basically, digital magazines. Super cheap. I think I pay $10 a month for this. So here we'll just use this one for example. Now it'll load up and I can come up here and grab this link to that document and I can come back into the web page. Now to make this image be a hyperlink to that document, all I have to do is select the image. So I'm just going to click on it, come up to the link with the green plus, and then it's going to bring up the screen to paste the link into. Now, because Agent Studio is a secure platform now, you have to make this use HTTPS. I'm going to say okay, and now that image is linked to that brochure. This could be 6 different companies or 6 different resorts. And whoops, I went back too far. Shoot. Okay, so let's look at my bookcases. I have a handful set up in here. Somewhere there's the weddings. Is right here. So let's click this bookcase and grab a few more links just to show you. And not all resorts have a wedding brochure. I don't know why. If they do weddings, I don't know why they wouldn't do it. You can also grab the link from here. So we'll grab this. Geez. I tend to, all right, that's giving me an issue. So let me go about that a different way. I tend to navigate toward the resorts that have really good marketing materials. So let's grab this and then come back in and we can make this smaller image. We can do the same thing, click the link, and we can link those out, each out to a different brochure. So let's save the page and just show you, it's required. I thought that maybe we could get away with doing something very minimal in there. Let's see if it'll take that period. It did, it took the period. Okay, so I need to ask Shay how we could get around this because you don't want your titles to all just be black and in, you know, a certain font. It's nice to bring the color, blend it with your website. So here's what we have, and if we click this, then it's going to open up to that AM Resorts. If we go back and click this image, well, eventually it will open up. I don't know what, it was giving me some issues earlier opening up, so it's getting there, but you get the idea. And you can tell that these are hyperlinked. The red outline just means that it has a link. If you do that, you might want to change beach vibe, wedding inspiration, you know, change it here. That way, you know, it will let them know that they're going to get some type of inspiration from looking at this page. Does anybody have any questions so far about, you know, how to take, basically all I did was go and look at these different layouts and find one that I like. And then I basically used the table to recreate, I need to go back, to recreate that page. Let's see, no questions there. Gail, did my answer answer your question? I don't know if it did. No questions? Nobody has anything? Not sure. I'm not sure. I don't know if I actually answered your question either. Let's see. Patricia asked, does Agent Studio have a gallery of pictures or do you have to upload your own? They don't. You have to upload your own. That's why sometimes it can get a little expensive, but one of the best ways to do it is if you get, and I'm not sure if Adobe has this or not. I think they have, mine is like you get 50 images, I think a month for like $25. But if one of the services has an unlimited number, like for a certain month, like you can pay maybe $150 for unlimited. Sign up for that for 1 month and just download everything you can possibly think that you're going to want to use or use on your website or in your marketing or anything like that, and then cancel the subscription. Another thing is if you have a bunch of agents, you can go together and share the cost of the subscription. Especially that's beneficial if you do the unlimited, and then you can just go all sign in, use the same login, and just download. I'm showing you some backdoor ways to save some money. But Agent Studio does not, so you do need to provide your own. Empresa, a separate site to purchase. Yeah, I'm not even exactly sure. I think this is a website option, but I just use it and WordPress to look at their different layouts. So that's where I go to look. And if to add different inspiration, or when I'm doing webinars, like this is what I was going for in the other layout that when I first opened up, is to have a page like this. Now they won't change like that. I don't know how they do that, but just the layout, I was playing around with that. So that's all I use these two sites for, is just to play and get ideas. Unsplash is a free site to get photos. Okay, thanks, Gail. So Gail said that Unsplash has free images, so that's good to know. Now let's go back. And one of the other options that I want to share with you is, And you can see here we have, it's a little off. So we would, if this was a real, you know, a site that I was putting out there to use for my site, I would fix this. So basically I would either increase each of these a little bit to get rid of that, because what happened was I changed them to 190 so that we could put in the border. So we might need to make them all like 198 or 195. So I would fix that. One of the other tools that is very helpful is when making web pages, is also how to take, now this is a page I created as well. Basically took 3 images, made it the same way, used the table and just did the 3, put a little blurb about the Maldives, and then 3 options here. You could make it 4 or 5. You could do multiple rows if it's a destination that you have more preferred. What I tend to do when I make pages like this, if I have a relationship with them where I get more of a commission, maybe you're getting wholesale rates, I put them first, or those are the, you know, resorts that I put here, and then you can put additional options upon request. If you want to make sure people don't think, oh, these are the only 3 resorts they, you know, work with in a certain area, but each of these links out to like a little page or a blurb about Coco Privé. Now, obviously this was too large, but and then resort inquiry, can put that in there. And then this opens up your trip inquiry form. And the trip inquiry form was done the same way, just typing resort inquiry when, and I can edit here. So once I typed this and formatted it the way I wanted, bold and the different colors, go to the link, you do the same thing. Put in the link for wherever your form is, and then say okay, and then that makes the words or word a hyperlink to something else. Okay, so this is another option for a page. And let me see. Oh, I don't know what that is. I don't have any others. So I want to show you how I took the PDF document and made it into a web page to link. We'll upload something and make one of these other images a link to a PDF. If you don't want to do any flip or any digital magazine like that, and you just want it to be a straight PDF, I'm going to show you how to do that. Let me get back to the control panel. So once we're back into the control panel, we're going to create a new page. So click on new page, and I'm just going to make up a name for it. I don't know what it, ABC Resort Weddings. Resort Weddings. And parent page, so I think I had that under the weddings under destination, so I'm going to put this page under there as well. And it's a good idea just to try to keep everything under that navigational tab, because it'll make it easier for you in the long run. So ABC Resort, oops, wedding brochure. Okay, so first thing that we want to do is we have to, the same way, the same thing that we did with the images, we have to get the document on the server. So we're going to click on the link, and we're going to click on upload. And we're going to choose the file. And I'm going to go here. And let's see. Actually, I'm going to use one that I know, Dominique. Okay, Dominique. And, okay, of course I'm going to use one that I know is going to work. Okay, here's a, that doesn't look like a PowerPoint though. Of course, I wanted to pick something that was super easy that I knew would definitely pop right up with a PDF that would actually make some sense. Oh. Some days. Dominique. Okay. My apologies, guys. Okay, soon I'm going to go to my desktop and grab anything. Somebody has a question. John says, can you build a form page in Agent Studio that can be submitted securely, like for a client to send in credit card numbers or other secure data? You can't build that in Agent Studio, but you can get other third-party. I use FormSite, but I've also started using the form that I showed you was FormSite is secure. And I have kind of started, I use TravelJoy now as my CRM / invoice / pretty much everything else. So with TravelJoy, you have, you can send out an invoice that allows your client to click on the invoice, look at it, ask any questions, and then securely submit their credit card information. So I've kind of stopped using the credit card authorization form that I used to use through FormSite. I still have it on my website, but I don't really use it that much anymore. I use TravelJoy, but Agent Studio doesn't have that ability within it, but you can use third parties, like JotForm is another one. I had started out originally utilizing them for forms, but then, you know, as I dug deeper, there were other options out there that I liked better. Let me see, party packages, okay. Accommodations, here, we'll use this. So I've grabbed the PDF and now I need to send it to the server. And when it comes, once it sends it to the server, when it comes back to this, you'll see that it put a URL into, it automatically filled this in. Now, all we're going to do is say, okay, and it pasted automatically that URL into the body of this web page. Now, that's part of the link to that page, but we have to put our actual agency URL in front of it so that it knows, hey, this is ABC Travel's document, or this TACT Agent Studio. So how we get that is going up into the browser, and we're going to copy everything up to the first single slash. Okay, so whether your agency is a .com, a .net, a .org, we want to copy everything up to the first slash. And then we're going to come down to the body and paste that. So all we did was paste the URL for the actual website. Now, once we do that, we're going to highlight the entire web address and copy it, and then we're going to delete it. We're going to come up here to the globe, which is an iframe, We're going to click on the iframe icon, and the first box is for the URL. So we're going to paste the URL that we just copied, and then we're going to add a width and a height. So I think the width of these pages were like 1,000, so I'm going to try 800. And again, this is a trial and error. Based on how your website is set up, these height and widths might be different for each person's website. Now, if you want to align it here, top, left, right, middle, you can do that, or I'll show you where else you can center it. You can enable the scroll bar by checking that, and you can put a frame border around the document. You don't need to really fill in anything else here. We're going to click OK, and now all you see is this frame, and it will say in the middle of it, iframe, right there. Okay, now we want to make sure that we center it, unlike I did on a few of my pages. So to do that, all you do is click in the box and then click on center. And then if we save this page, I'm going to highlight this. Now this would be a page, because we're going to link this to the wedding page that we created, we don't really need to have this page visible. So we're actually going to hide this page. And we do that by just clicking the little icon that looks like an eye. And if I come up here to a window and I paste in that link that I just showed you, you can look at what the document's going to look like. Now, normally this would be a document for weddings, but because my computer was being stupid, this is just a document that I've played with in webinars before. So, assuming for all intents and purposes that that's a wedding for a resort, now we're going to go back into our control panel. I'm going to close that page. You can close these as well. Now we're going to link that to one of the images that we created. When we come in here, I'm going to click here, and then the only thing we need to do is to again click the link, paste in the URL. Now, why it did this, we're going to delete out this HTTPS. Normally it automatically changes that, but because this is a demo, it's probably not completely up to code. Once we say okay, then we're going to save the changes, and we're going to go look at that document. And then it opens up and you have the PDF right there, as opposed to going out to the other, like this one, we did the AnyFlip. It's kind of cool. It sounds like a magazine. So those are the two ways that you can get build out your page. And let me see if somebody had a new question. Nope, I think I just hit that. Does anybody have any questions about how to take, you know, whether you're utilizing supplier brochures or supplier information, or you really just want to create a page for a specific niche for your agency? Do you have any questions about anything that I did today? I know we ran about 5 minutes over, so I apologize for that. If you do have any questions, you go in and you're trying to create some pages, you can always reach out to Agent Studio by submitting a support ticket. Or when you registered for the webinars, my email was included. So you can always email me, and then I can help you out the best I can. And if there's something that I can't help with, you know, I'll reach out to Agent Studio and get them involved so that they can assist. So I want to thank everyone for coming. And if you don't have any additional questions, I hope that I will see you on another one of my webinars. And we have one question. Gail says, thanks. You're very welcome. And one last thing before I let you go, all of the webinars are recorded and they can be found on the Agent Studio YouTube page. So tomorrow you'll receive a follow-up email about the webinar, and it will give you a link, and I'll show you exactly where the link will send you, in case some people have been saying that they haven't.
To be a player in today's
they don't always get the emails, which I'm not sure why. They're all set up. I think sometimes they might go into your spam folder, but here, today's webinar will be right here in this spot. So, and then this is all of like the past month and a half, 2 months worth of webinars. So you can always go back and look and watch any of the previous recordings as well. John says, thank you. You're very welcome. I'm glad all of you came, and hopefully you have found some tips that you can take into your own agency and start creating pages to market all of the specialty niches that you sell in your agency. Have a great day, and I will see you on another webinar. Thanks again, everyone.